Hey everyone, welcome back. I am the Star Trek guy,
And I'm Kat.
and we have an episode review for you. So this is the first one in 10 years. Big moment. I don't have any confetti, but we're going to roll into it, and here we go.
Finally getting a review on this channel after 10 years.
Yes. Big moment. And just a quick brief thing. I am looking forward to Star Trek Picard very much.
So am I, man. We watched the short trek the Star Trek short trek that CBS made that has the Picard shove into it. Easter eggs in it.
Spoiler alert.
I'm not saying where it is, it just does.
Yes.
So there's that if you wanna.
That's out there. We're not reviewing that.
We're not planning on reviewing those.
We might one.
We may, but we were not planning on it.
Yep.
Because we got a journey ahead of us still, so.
That's right. But before we go to the future, we're going to dig back into the past because there is a lot of past. As you can tell by the title of this video, today we're reviewing TNG Season 5, The Outcast.
Originally aired on March 16th, 1992.
I was exactly 4 years old.
I didn't exist.
Yes, she did not exist. However, she is old enough to go back and appreciate these very old relics.
Definitely.
So let's do it. A little refresher. The Outcast is about the Enterprise helping the Janai rescue people from a shuttle inside null space? Yeah, null space. They have a pocket of it right outside their planet. And they go into this null space and it drains energy from a shuttle and stuff. So, anyway.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's not good. So Riker and one of the Janai, Soren, team up because they're both pilots, and they go in and attempt to rescue the people on the Janai shuttle.
They did this twice.
What?
They did it twice.
Well, the first time they were mapping the null space.
So the first time they mapped it, the second time they did it.
Yeah. But, as you recall, the Janai are androgynous. They are genderless. And Riker and Soren are attracted to each other. This is forbidden in the Janai culture because they used to have two sexes. And
then they formed into one because it was the more evolved and superior.
Yeah. The Janai people considered gender to be primitive. Anyway, Soren explains that there are throwbacks from the time when there were two sexes, and sometimes there are some who identify as female and some who identify as male. And if found out, they are forced to undergo psychotactic treatments to correct this problem.
It's kind of like a cure in some case, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Now we go into what we liked about this episode. Would you like to kick this one off?
The message of the episode is what I mainly liked. That's what I want to say. That it was mostly an acknowledgement to homosexuality and gender fluidity. And it was a very well executed episode, I felt.
I agree. I think we both liked about it is the execution of it. I thought the ideas, it was 1992, and while wanting to address this in a way that's not so obvious, they invent the Janai and address the societal repercussions, the issues, and I think it was just excellently done.
Mm-hmm. And we're using the page from the Star Trek Universe books from one of the packs, which this one's the Outcast page, to be specific, which explains a little bit more about the episode. And it was actually a letter acknowledgement. So, lots of people wrote to the writer, to Paramount and the writers of the show, asking for an episode that addressed homosexuality. So this is what they came up with, and I really liked the execution of that.
And I think it's good because rather than just acknowledging homosexuality in Star Trek like I guess people wanted, instead of they invent this race, so it's not so obvious, but then they are able to address the social problems.
They kind of just gave the message, but in a very unique and sleek way.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek does give this message quite a bit throughout the series, like in Deep Space Nine, but this is a very well way of doing it.
And for early 1992 television, I think that was pretty cutting edge.
I'm not a big fan of this episode, honestly.
The extra thing to note about what I liked about this episode, it was Riker's maturity about the whole thing. And even saying, like, you know, you look back and say, hey, you know, Riker's kind of a ladies' man. He's, you know, not so, well, what am I going to say? He's really open about, I guess, what he's into. And he's very mature about it, and he's very understanding. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah, he's definitely like you said, understanding.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely just is a very accepting character,
mm-hmm.
which really fits with the Star Trek's ideas and with the show's ideas as well as the Federation's ideas.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to listing the dislikes, we couldn't really come up with any. The only thing I could maybe think of, if I were to really, really try hard and think of something, it's not a very action-oriented episode. It's pretty much the whole thing is strictly dialogue.
Yeah, so...
But that's not necessarily a gripe. I think these you know, morals and issues, these are really what Star Trek is.
It's more about addressing ideas and values and morals, but in a very, like, I'm trying to, in a very sleek and calm way to address it. It's not like all up in your face. It's more like it's there. It's a message. It's,
mm-hmm. So I mean, if you're looking for some Star Trek action, this isn't it. But
there are definitely some great episodes that was Star Trek action.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this one is like the epitome of the Star Trek message. I think it's great. So we covered the likes and dislikes. Now we got some noteworthy points we'd like to talk about.
Some things that we just noticed, or we had known, or we used information off of our wonderful page of knowledge to learn.
Here's one thing I noticed that I think is just kind of funny. The scene in the shuttle right before Soren tells Riker about having female orientation. I don't know how they consider that. Anyway, I think Soren is sitting in the chair and Riker's behind her, and they talk about making an adjustment to something, and then they go down under the console to do something, but
there's a chair in the way.
There's a chair. Jonathan Frakes moves the back of the chair. It like seemingly just folds down and removes. It's not like what a chair would normally do.
It just folds down.
But
normally.
It's so they could get the shot of what they're working on. It was very sneaky.
It was like that's
what?
an MVP shot right there.
I noticed that some years ago. I think when it was like aired on TV or something, or maybe it was just when I went back and watched it. I'm like, wait a minute, what did you just do with that chair?
Wait, the chair? What?
It was sneaky. I bet a lot of people didn't notice it, but it happened. It was like almost a sleight of hand thing. But I imagine the director, it's like really needing to get that shot. He's like, hey, could you just... So, that's there, and that's creative, and if you notice those things, you see it.
You're rad.
Yep.
You get a rad point.
So this noteworthy thing comes from a panel at a Comic-Con that my wife and I attended, in which we saw nearly all of the Next Generation cast there. One of the people asking questions asked about this episode, and Jonathan Frakes knew it instantly. I was like, oh yes, the Outcast.
The Outcast!
It's like, I myself am personally proud of my work on that one, which I think is great. He also mentioned that he wished the actor of Soren was male to, I guess, maybe further the message. But even at that time, you know, the fact that he wished for that, I think that really speaks volumes about Jonathan Frakes and his his character,
And
his personal character, not the character of Riker, but his
like the
his
personal ally character that he is.
Yeah. So kudos to you, Jonathan Frakes.
Heck yeah. The last noteworthy point that we had was from the inside story part of the page was also, I've already said this prior, but it was a response to, well, actually, let me look at what it says.
I'll tell you exactly what it says here.
Okay, The Outcast was scripted following a tremendous letter-writing campaign which asked the Star Trek The Next Generation producers to acknowledge homosexuality on the series. Rather than dealing with the subject directly, the gender-neutral Janai were created, allowing a more metaphorical and English.
I don't know. Allegorical?
Allegorical explanation of sexual identity, sexual orientation, and social reaction. And the next part goes, reaction to the episode was mixed. While many appreciated its message of tolerance and support of sexual diversity, some viewers reacted negatively because they felt the series supported homosexuality. Meanwhile, some viewers actually felt the series sanctioned the brainwashing techniques seen in the episode.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with the last part. It was like the last part was more like a threat to people, so I don't think the sanctioning part is right, but the point, they used it to help progress the series, the episode, to have like a time slot and stuff to keep the episode moving.
Oh, there was one thing I didn't even write in my notes. There was a scene when, was it Troy, Data, and Worf are playing poker. And Worf is saying a bunch of very, not very tolerant things about women and about the Janai. First he's saying, like, because, Troy was there. What did I say? Troy, Crusher, Data, Worf. Yeah. So, Troy had a bunch of wild cards in, I don't know, my card game, so that's probably an easy one. But
it was called Founders Day, I believe.
Well, I think she was just kind of saying that's why she was picking the wild cards that she did. Anyway, he said, Worf said that is a woman's game because it supports a weak hand. He said in a man's game there are no wild cards. So Worf said a bunch of very intolerant things about like how the Jedi bother him because they're all the same. And when Crusher said, I think one of them is attracted to Commander Riker, Worf says, a human and a Jedi. It's like, they would say, impossible. So I thought that was like, what the heck? But later on, after Soren is found out and, taken away and Riker's fixing to go down and rescue her, Worf I think, came to realizations, and I think that's why he wanted to help Riker beam down and save Soren.
He's like, hey, I'll help you. Let's go.
I will go with you. So I think he was trying to redeem himself. So I'll give him some credit there. Is there anything else you would like to say about the Outcast before we rate it?
I just really like the episode. I like the message. I think I got that point through already.
Love it all.
Love it all.
So personally, I will give this a 9 out of 10. And it's not a 10 out of 10 because maybe for, some viewing, besides dialogue, there isn't a whole lot to keep you drawn in, except for the message.
And some viewers may not like it as well.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, some people had mixed reactions, so...
Oh, 1 point for the first appearance of Geordi LaForge's beard. Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes!
We didn't get that too much in the show. But
yeah.
that was one of them.
I also rate it 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. That's from us.
9 out of 10. Stay tuned, and you should check out our Twitter, because I drew a William T. Riker picture the other day for this episode, so...
You drew it while we were watching that episode?
I drew it while we were watching this episode. Actually, where the tripod's standing, that's where I've set my drawing stuff and I drew it, so...
Yes, check it out and give it a like, give it a retweet. That would be appreciated.
Hopefully, Jonathan Frakes will notice us.
Well, stay tuned for more content from us. Thank you for watching. Feel free to interact with us on Twitter or here. Let us know your thoughts about the show. Just let us know whatever you want us to know. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds pretty rad. You get a rad point if you follow us on something. Or interact with us. You get a rad point.
Yeah, interact with us. If you don't, whatever.
Whatever. You miss out on rad points, and you don't want to miss out on those.
Right. Thank you for watching.
No, we'll see y'all later. Bye.